Good afternoon, students. How are you all? Okay. So, students, today we are going to learn about the most interesting topic of this semester, and that is living world. Okay. So, students, as you see on the board, there is the things I draw. So, here you see on the first picture A, that is a ball. Okay. And in the second picture, what do you see? You see the one of the plant. Okay. So students, have you get the idea about today's topic? Okay. So students, today we are going to learn about the living world. Okay. So look at the pictures and tell me which things are the living and which things are the non-living from this. Okay. So here a ball is the non-living thing and here the plant is the living thing. Why plant is the living thing? Because it having a certain characteristic properties which are able to make a plant is the living thing. Okay. So students, today we are going to learn about all these concept that is a living world. Okay. So let's start with our today's session. So now we are studying the different characteristic properties of the plants and animals. Means the different characteristics property which are present in the various plants and animals. So we are studying about the characteristics of living things. Okay. So today we are studying about the characteristic property, that is first one is the growth. Second one, respiration. In the respiration, we have to study about the photosynthesis process in the plants. Third one is the response to stimuli or stimuli. Okay. Fourth one is the reproduction. And last one property, that is excretion. Okay. So students, highlight these points that today we are going to learn about the growth, respiration. In respiration, what we have to learn? We have to learn about the photosynthesis process. Third one, that is the response to stimuli. Fourth one, that is reproduction. And last one is the excretion. Okay. So let's start with the growth. So students, I have the one of the interesting activity for you. Okay. So here we have the plant. Okay. So we have to do one activity, that I tie a thread to a plant. Okay. So this plant shows the growth upwards. It means this plant having the property of the livingness. Which property? That is the growth. When we get the water to this plant are starting to the growth, and this property is described for a livingness. Okay. So first point, here we study about the characteristic growth. So these growth property are observed in both plants and animals. First property, that is growth. So growth is the property which are present in both plants and animals. In plants, when we see that plant shows the growth, when we are get the water to the plants, plants are starting to the develop, they are starting to the growth. It means it shows the property of the growth, hence they are having the living things. Okay, so growth is the property which is helps to describe the plants or the living thing. Okay, and same as in the animals, animals are also having the feature of the growth. When the baby are birth or the child are starting, so the child are starting that the child are grow means the child are develop from the child baby to the adult person. It means the human being having also the property of the growth. It means they are living things. Okay, so animals are also showing the property of the living things. Okay, so today what we studied about the property growth. Next property we have to study, that is the respiration. Second property is the respiration. Okay, so in the respiration, what we have to study? We have to study about the one of the process. Okay, so that is process. Here I draw the one plant. This is the plant. Okay, so this is the plant. And here the energy source is the sun. So this sunlight is getting on the leaves of the plant. So plant leaf having the small pores on their surface of the leaves. Okay, so these small pores having a structure is called as a stomata. So these stomata are helps to the plant leaves to exchange of the gases. Okay, so the plant's leaves means this stomata structure are get the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to the leaves of the plants and releases the oxygen in the environment, and this overall process is called as a photosynthesis process. So this photosynthesis process is play a major role in the respiration. So this is also a feature, a property of the livingness. Okay, so this respiration is present in the plants. Draw the diagram in your notebook. Okay, this is very important topic for your examination view. So draw this diagram. You are done with it. So the next property, that is response to stimuli. Next property is which? Response to stimuli or stimuli. So students, have you observed the plants, that is the mimosa, or which is also called as a touch me not plant. This is a mimosa plant. Or touch me not plant. So when you touch the leaves of this mimosa plant, they are shows the response to stimuli. Okay, understood this concept? So next characteristic property is the reproduction. Is also one of the most important characteristic property is in both plants and animals. Okay, so in case of plants, the various plants having a sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, so in case of plants, the example is hibiscus, that hibiscus shows the bisexual reproduction. Okay, so the hibiscus plant having these are the petals of hibiscus, these are the sepals. Here it is a ovary, style, stigma and ovary. Okay, this is a stigma and this is a style. So the style, stigma and ovary is for a gynoecium. It means gynoecium, it means female reproductive system. Okay, so in this plant also the male reproductive system means androecium is also present. So in case of plants, there are also the reproduction is occurs. It means it is also characteristic property of the living things. So now we talk about the animals. So in animals is also observed the property of the reproduction. In case of males, there is a XY chromosome, and in case of female, there is a XX chromosome. Okay, these chromosomes are responsible for the reproduction in animals, in humans. Okay, so this is all about the reproduction. So now we talk about the last property, that is excretion. Excretion is the property in which removal of the fecal matter, okay, or the removal of the metabolic activities, metabolic substances from the body of plants as well as animals. This is a very important property observed in both plants and animals. In case of animals, the removal of fecal matter is from the excretory system, means for the excretion, the excretory organs such as a pair of kidney, urethra, urinary bladder are responsible for the absorption of water and excretion of the fecal matter, as well as in the form of sweat from the surface of the body is also helps to removal of the waste toxic substances. It means excretion is the property which is also responsible for the livingness of the organism. Okay, so these all are the property which are represent for the living things. So what we studied today? We studied today about the growth, photosynthesis, respiration, reproduction, response in stimuli for the plants, reproduction, and last one is the excretion. This is all about the living things. So let's define what is living thing. So living things are the substances or the organisms which are having these characteristics. Which characteristics that we studied in this previous lecture, that is about the growth, reproduction, respiration, excretion, reproduction. This is all the property of the living things. And the non-living things means what? These characteristics are does not observed in these things is called as a non-living. Okay? So this is all about the today's lecture. Are you understood this concept? So students, please, anyone having doubt, please ask me, okay? So now write down the homework for today. So students, you have to define living and non-living things. Write down, this is very important for your examination. Now next question. Distinguish the things in your surrounding which is living or non-living, okay? Write down on your notebook. And third question is the enlist the names of living and non-living things. Okay? Write down. So this is all about today's lecture. So the next part of this topic we will cover in tomorrow's lecture. Understood? Thank you.